Carlos Huertas is 6th. The qualification session is at APS Rosario in Rosario, Santa Fe, Argentina. The wind speed is 8 km/h from the north. Sergio Perez from Colombia is first. Carlos Huertas from Colombia is P10 with 110 kilos on softs. Ricardo Pineda from Colombia is P8 with 110 kilos on mediums. Santiago Botero from United States is 4th with 110 kilos on softs. Sergio Perez is P14. Jose Miguel Moncada from Colombia is P1 with 110 kilos on softs. Santiago Botero is P2 on softs. Jose Miguel Moncada is P14 up 0.10 with 110 kilos. Camilo Gomez from Colombia is 4th up 0.10 with 110 kilos on softs. Carlos Villavicencio from Colombia is 1st up 0.12. Jose Miguel Moncada is P10 up 0.47 driving a Alfa Romeo. "15 minutes remaining in the session. J.Enriquez from Colombia is P5 on softs. J.Enriquez improved his P4 with a 138.392. 1.085 off pole. Carlos Huertas is 12. Juan Barbosa is provisional pole with a 136.857. Santiago Idarraga from Spain is 15. Iván Trujillo from Colombia is 12th with 110 kilos on hards. Jose Miguel Moncada is 7th up 1.50. Best lap is a 138.454. 1.597 off pole. Jose Miguel Moncada improved his P2 with a 136.911. 0.054 off pole. Santiago Botero is P12. Santiago Botero improved his P9 with a 138.731. 1.874 off pole. Christian Gomez from Colombia is P14. Christian Gomez improved his 4th with a 137.125. 0.268 off pole. Jean Parent from Colombia is P6. Santiago Idarraga is P14. Santiago Idarraga improved his P12 with a 139.719. 2.862 off pole. Iván Trujillo is 14. Iván Trujillo improved his P14 with a 139.859. 3.002 off pole. Carlos Huertas is P9 up 0.41. Santiago Idarraga is 12th up 0.68. J.Enriquez is 8th up 0.14. Ten minutes remaining in the session. J.Enriquez improved his P8 with a 138.031. 1.174 off pole. Sergio Perez is P15 up 0.11. Sergio Perez improved his P12 with a 139.670. 2.813 off pole. J.Enriquez is 8th up 0.22. J.Enriquez improved his 8th with a 137.703. 0.846 off pole. Carlos Huertas is 9th up 0.68. Best lap is a 138.452. 1.595 off pole. Carlos Huertas improved his P4 with a 137.101. 0.244 off pole. Ricardo Pineda is 8th up 0.38 on softs. Jose Miguel Moncada is 2nd up 0.19. Jose Miguel Moncada is provisional pole with a 136.757. Carlos Villavicencio is 3rd up 0.52. Carlos Villavicencio is provisional pole with a 136.558. Christian Gomez is 5th driving a Ford. Christian Gomez is provisional pole with a 136.349. Juan Carlos Guerin from Colombia is 10th up 0.35 on mediums. Five minutes remaining in the session. Juan Carlos Guerin improved is 7th with a 137.217. 0.868 off pole. Sergio Flores is P12 driving a Ford. Sergio Flores improved his P12 with a 139.040. 2.691 off pole. Jose Miguel Moncada is 3rd on softs. Best lap is a 136.757. 0.408 off pole. Camilo Gomez is 14th up 0.10 on softs. Jose Miguel Moncada is 3rd up 0.11. Santiago Botero is P11 up 0.14. Best lap is a 138.731. 2.382 off pole. Santiago Botero improved his 11th with a 138.411. 2.062 off pole. Jean Ferrand is P6. Jean Ferrand improved his P5 with a 136.977. 0.628 off pole. Santiago Idarraga from Spain is 13th up 0.26. Ivan Trujillo is P15 up 0.24. Ivan Trujillo improved his P13 with a 139.490. 3.141 off pole. Juan Barbosa from Colombia is P4 up 0.68 with 110 kilos on softs. Santiago Idarraga is 14th up 0.67. The qualifying session is now in overtime. Santiago Idarraga improved his 13th with a 139.370. 3.021 off pole. Sergio Perez is P12 up 0.10 driving a Ford. Sergio Perez improved his P12 with a 138.940. 2.591 off pole. race session is at Apps Rosario in Rosario, Santa Fe, Argentina. The wind speed is 5 km/h from the north. Director entering the pits is 26th. Santiago Botero entering the pits is P17. Christian Gomez is P1. Race start. Christian Gomez is first. Carlos Huertas from Colombia is P4 with 110 kilos on softs. Christian Gomez from Colombia is third. Santiago Botero exiting pits on softs. Jean Ferrand from Colombia is 9. Sergio Perez from Colombia is 7th. Sergio Perez lost 7th to Juan Carlos Guillerin. Jean Ferrand is 10th. J.Enriquez from Colombia is 9th on softs. Camilo Gomez from Colombia is P12 with 110 kilos on softs. Santiago Idarraga entering the pits is P14. J.Enriquez is P10. Best lap is a 1:55.744. 8.968 off the fastest lap. Camilo Gomez is P12, 0.5 behind Ivan Trujillo. Juan Barbosa from Colombia is P12 with 110 kilos on softs, 0.3 behind Camilo Gomez. Juan Barbosa lost 12th to Ivan Trujillo. Jean Ferrand is 9, 0.5 behind Sergio Perez. Carlos Huertas is P3. Carlos Huertas lost P6 to Juan Carlos Guillerin. Carlos Huertas lost 8th to Jean Ferrand. Jean Ferrand is P8, 0.4 behind Sergio Perez. Santiago Idarraga exiting pits. J.Enriquez is P10 on softs, 0.4 behind Carlos Huertas. Jean Ferrand is 10th, 2.1 behind
Sonido de Nico Bellic Sounds.
Jean Ferrand entering the pits is first. Juan Carlos Guerin from Colombia is 7th on mediums, 2.0 behind Christian Gomez. J.Enriquez is P10 driving a Torino, 0.5 behind Carlos Huertas. J.Enriquez was 7.6 faster last lap. Jean Ferrand exiting pits. J.Enriquez is now 9th. Daniel Velez from Colombia is 4th, 0.1 behind Ricardo Pineda. Christian Gomez is P5, 0.4 behind Daniel Velez. Ricardo Pineda from Colombia is 4th with 110 kilos on softs, 0.4 ahead of Christian Gomez. Ricardo Pineda lost 4th to Christian Gomez. Christian Gomez is 4th, 0.5 behind Daniel Velez. J.Enriquez is 9th. Best lap is a 1:42.083. 4.483 off the fastest lap. Ricardo Pineda is 5th driving a Alfa Romeo, 0.5 behind Christian Gomez. J.Enriquez is P9, 0.5 behind Sergio Flores. Juan Carlos Guerin is 6th, 1.5 behind Ricardo Pineda. J.Enriquez is 9th, 0.4 behind Sergio Flores. J.Enriquez was 1.5 faster last lap. Jose Miguel Moncada from Colombia is P2 with 110 kilos on softs. Best lap is a 1:38.093. 1.141 off the fastest lap. Sergio Flores is 9th, 0.4 behind J.Enriquez. Christian Gomez from Colombia is P4, 0.5 behind Daniel Velez. Santiago Botero entering the pits is P13. Daniel Velez is 3rd driving a Ford, 0.3 ahead of Christian Gomez. Jose Miguel Moncada is 2nd on softs, 1.2 ahead of Daniel Velez. Jose Miguel Moncada lost P3 to Christian Gomez. Jose Miguel Moncada entering the pits is 4th. Ricardo Pineda entering the pits is 5th. Ricardo Pineda is 5th. Jean Ferrand is 13th. Best lap is a 1:39.734. 2.782 off the fastest lap. Daniel Velez is P3. Best lap is a 1:38.012. 1.060 off the fastest lap. Jose Miguel Moncada exiting pits. Santiago Idarraga entering the pits is P15. Ricardo Pineda is P11 on softs. Juan Barbosa entering the pits is P12. Ricardo Pineda exiting pits on softs. Santiago Idarraga exiting pits. Ricardo Pineda is now P13. Carlos Huertas is P5, 0.5 behind Juan Carlos Guerin. Carlos Huertas passed Juan Carlos Guerin for 4th. Carlos Villavicencio entering the pits is 1st. Carlos Villavicencio is P1. Christian Gomez entering the pits is P3. Jean Ferrand is P11. Ivan Trujillo from Colombia is 8th with 110 kilos on hards, 3.3 behind Sergio Perez. Javier Enriquez entering the pits is 6th. Christian Gomez exiting pits. Camilo Gomez is 10. Carlos Villavicencio exiting pits on softs. Camilo Gomez entering the pits is 10. Carlos Huertas from Colombia is P2, 1.7 ahead of Juan Carlos Guerin. Javier Enriquez exiting pits. Juan Barbosa exiting pits on softs. Sergio Perez is 8th. Daniel Velez is P3 driving a Ford, 1.0 behind Juan Carlos Guerin. Juan Carlos Guerin was 1.8 faster last lap. Sergio Perez is P9. Best lap is a 140.892. 3.940 off the fastest lap. Camilo Gomez on lap 7 is 11th, 0.6 behind Jean Ferrand. Camilo Gomez passed Jean Ferrand for P10. Juan Carlos Guerin is P2, 3.2 behind Carlos Huertas. Carlos Huertas entering the pits is P1. Juan Carlos Guerin entering the pits is P2. Daniel Velez is 3rd. Daniel Velez entering the pits is 3rd. Christian Gomez entering the pits is P5. Carlos Villavicencio entering the pits is P6. Christian Gomez is 5th. Juan Carlos Guerin exiting pits. Javier Enriquez on lap 7 is P8. Carlos Huertas exiting pits. Juan Barbosa entering the pits is 14th. Javier Enriquez is now 5th. Christian Gomez exiting pits. Carlos Huertas is 5th driving a Alfa Romeo. Ricardo Pineda entering the pits is P12. Ivan Trujillo is P4, 0.1 behind Javier Enriquez. Javier Enriquez was 8.5 faster last lap. Sergio Perez entering the pits is 9th. Camilo Gomez entering the pits is P10. Juan Barbosa exiting pits. Ivan Trujillo lost 4th to Carlos Huertas. Jean Ferrand is 11th. Jean Ferrand passed Daniel Velez for 7th. Ricardo Pineda exiting pits. Ricardo Pineda is P11. Sergio Perez exiting pits on softs. Ricardo Pineda is now 11th. Camilo Gomez exiting pits on softs. J.Enriquez is P4. J.Enriquez lost P4 to Ivan Trujillo. Daniel Velez exiting pits. Ivan Trujillo is 5th driving a Alfa Romeo. Carlos Villavicencio from Colombia is 11th. Carlos Villavicencio exiting pits. Christian Gomez is P6, 0.4 behind Ivan Trujillo. Christian Gomez passed Ivan Trujillo for 5th. Sergio Perez is 9th driving a Ford, 4.9 ahead of Daniel Velez. Sergio Perez was 61.3 faster last lap. Sergio Perez lost 9th to Daniel Velez. Jose Miguel Moncada is 1st. Jean Parent entering the pits is P7. Camilo Gomez is P8. Camilo Gomez entering the pits is 8th. Carlos Huertas is P2. Jean Parent is P8 on mediums. Jean Parent exiting pits on mediums. Jean Parent is now P9. Sergio Perez entering the pits is P11. Sergio Perez is 11th. Carlos Huertas is P2. Camilo Gomez is 11th. Camilo Gomez exiting pits. Juan Barbosa entering the pits is P13. Christian Gomez entering the pits is P1. Christian Gomez from Colombia is P1, 1.4 ahead of Jose Miguel Moncada. Christian Gomez lost first to Jose Miguel Moncada. Sergio Perez exiting pits on softs. Christian Gomez lost 5th to Ivan Trujillo. Daniel Velez is 7th. Carlos Villavicencio is P8, 1.3 behind Daniel Velez. Ivan Trujillo is P5 driving a Alfa Romeo. Jose Miguel Moncada from Colombia is first. J.Enriquez from Colombia is fourth. Ricardo Pineda is P10 with 110 kilos, 0.4 behind Jean Ferrand. Ricardo Pineda passed Jean Ferrand for 9th. Carlos Villavicencio is P8, 3.4 behind Daniel Velez. Carlos Huertas is P2. Camilo Gomez is 11th, 0.5 behind Jean Ferrand. Camilo Gomez passed Jean Ferrand for P10. Carlos Villavicencio is 8th, 0.5 behind Daniel Velez. Daniel Velez was 2.2 faster last lap. Carlos Villavicencio passed Daniel Velez for P7. Jean Ferrand from Colombia is P11. Carlos Villavicencio is P7 driving a Chevrolet, 3.8 ahead of Daniel Velez. Carlos Villavicencio was 6.1 faster last lap. Jean Ferrand is 11th, 0.5 behind Camilo Gomez. Jean Ferrand entering the pits is P11. Carlos Huertas is P2. Ivan Trujillo is P5. Jean Parent exiting pits. Ricardo Pineda is 0.1 ahead of Camilo Gomez. Daniel Velez is P8. Ricardo Pineda is P9, 2.3 ahead of Camilo Gomez. Christian Gomez is P6. Christian Gomez passed Ivan Trujillo for 5th. Ricardo Pineda is 0.5 behind Camilo Gomez. Camilo Gomez was 15.1 faster last lap. Jean Parent entering the pits is P11. Jean Parent is P11. J.Enriquez is 4th. Jean Parent from Colombia is P11. Jean Parent exiting pits on softs. Camilo Gomez is 10. J.Enriquez is P4. Camilo Gomez is 0.5 behind Ricardo Pineda. Daniel Velez is 8th. Camilo Gomez is 0.8 behind Ricardo Pineda. Santiago Idarraga from Spain is P12. Camilo Gomez is 10th, 1.4 behind Ricardo Pineda. Jose Miguel Moncada is P1. Camilo Gomez is P10 driving at Alfa Romeo, 1.3 behind Ricardo Pineda. Ivan Trujillo is 6th on hards, 2.6 ahead of Carlos Villavicencio. Ivan Trujillo lost P6 to Carlos Villavicencio. Ivan Trujillo entering the pits is P7. J.Enriquez is 4th. Daniel Velez entering the pits is 8th. J.Enriquez entering the pits is P4. Ivan Trujillo exiting pits on mediums. Ricardo Pineda entering the pits is P9. Ricardo Pineda is 9th. Ivan Trujillo on lap 17 is P7 on mediums. Jose Miguel Moncada entering the pits is P1. Jose Miguel Moncada is 1st. Carlos Huertas is 2nd. J.Enriquez exiting pits on softs. Carlos Huertas entering the pits is P2. Christian Gomez entering the pits is P5. Santiago Idarraga entering the pits is P12. Christian Gomez is P5. Camilo Gomez is 8th. Ricardo Pineda exiting pits on softs. Christian Gomez exiting pits on softs. Jose Miguel Moncada exiting pits. Juan Carlos Guerin is 3rd. Juan Carlos Guerin entering the pits is P3. Christian Gomez is 5th, 3.0 ahead of Carlos Villavicencio. Carlos Huertas exiting pits on softs. Daniel Velez exiting pits. Santiago Idarraga exiting pits on mediums. Sergio Perez entering the pits is 13th. Juan Carlos Guerin is 3rd. Juan Carlos Guerin exiting pits. Jean Parent is P10 driving a Chevrolet, 0.5 behind Daniel Velez. Camilo Gomez entering the pits is P8. Camilo Gomez is 8th. Juan Carlos Guerin is 3rd. Sergio Perez exiting pits. Jean Parent is P10 on softs, 0.5 behind Daniel Velez. Carlos Villavicencio is P6. Carlos Villavicencio entering the pits is P6. Camilo Gomez exiting pits on mediums. Daniel Velez is 9, 0.7 ahead of Jean Parent. Carlos Villavicencio is P6 on softs. Carlos Villavicencio exiting pits on softs. Carlos Villavicencio lost P6 to Ivan Trujillo. Jean Parent is P10 on softs, 0.5 behind Daniel Velez. Juan Carlos Guerin is 3rd. Jean Parent is P10, 0.5 behind Daniel Velez. Sergio Perez entering the pits is 13th. Jose Miguel Moncada is 1st. Jean Parent is P10. Best lap is a 1:38.575. 1.623 off the fastest lap. Carlos Villavicencio is P7, 0.2 behind Ivan Trujillo. Carlos Villavicencio passed Ivan Trujillo for 6th. Sergio Perez exiting pits. Jean Parent is 10th, 0.9 behind Daniel Velez. Sergio Perez is P13. Jean Parent is P10 on softs, 1.1 behind Daniel Velez. Daniel Velez is P9, 0.5 behind Camilo Gomez. Daniel Velez was 3.1 faster last lap. Jean Parent is 10, 0.5 behind Daniel Velez. Daniel Velez was 0.6 faster last lap. Camilo Gomez on lap 20 is P10 on mediums, 0.1 behind Jean Parent. Jean Parent is P9, 0.1 behind Daniel Velez. Camilo Gomez is P10. Best lap is a 1:40.867. 3.915 off the fastest lap. Sergio Perez entering the pits is P13. Jean Parent is P9, 0.8 ahead of Camilo Gomez. Jean Parent was 4.3 faster last lap. Sergio Perez exiting pits. Jose Miguel Moncada is P1. Jose Miguel Moncada lost first to Carlos Huertas. Jean Parent is P9 on softs, 1.1 behind Daniel Velez. Juan Carlos Guerin is third. Camilo Gomez is 10th with 110 kilos. Sergio Perez is 13th. Camilo Gomez entering the pits is 10th. Camilo Gomez is P10. Camilo Gomez exiting pits on mediums. Jean Parent is P9, 1.8 behind Daniel Velez. Ricardo Pineda is 11th. The leader has just finished the race. Carlos Huertas finished first. Carlos Villavicencio finished P6. Sergio Flores finished P13. Jose Miguel Moncada finished second. Juan Carlos Guerin finished third. Santiago Idarraga finished P12. Camilo Gomez finished 10. Ivan Trujillo finished P7. J.Enriquez finished 4th. Ricardo Pineda finished P11. Christian Gomez finished 5th.